What's up, guys? Thanks for choosing to watch the Dougsterbob Complete Bike Tournament. Now, if you've already know what's going on here, skip ahead to when I start the video. For those of you who are new, I'm gonna run you through exactly how this works. This is a way for me to compare one bike against a different bike. I take a price range and I take all the bikes within that price range, put them in a tournament style bracket, and they just go head to head. I run through all the videos and at the end we come up with a winner. Let me explain exactly how we find the winner. So each bike receives a Dougsterbob score based on the score sheet that is downloadable in the description. You can check out every single bike that I've ever reviewed and see what score it gets. That's going to help you decide which bike's right for you. So some of the things that make up this score is the look score, the street score, the park score, the dirt score, and the quality score. I score these scores off of a bunch of different things. For example, in the street section, pegs, hub guards, free coasters, strong durability for big drops, big gaps, things like that. And then at the end, we look at it and I'm asked, if I had X amount of money to spend, which bike would I go with? And the bike that I decide to buy moves on to the next round. The bike that I did not buy doesn't make it. So let's get right into it. So this part of the bracket, we're comparing the We the People Reason with the Mongoose Legion. This is actually a relatively close matchup and I was not expecting it. So let me run through a couple things. We the People Reason is right at the $600 mark. The Dougsterbob Score is a 109. The Mongoose Legion is almost there at the $600 mark and the score is 104. So they're very close. One thing, in my opinion, We the People's a more respected core BMX brand. Mongoose is a huge big box retailer. So they're able to do a few things because they have a lot more money. They're owned by like a multi-billion-dollar company. And you know, that does make a difference. Now, do they support as many riders and contests and stuff as We the People? Let's just take the politics out of it and look at the actual bikes and see which bike is better and which bike deserves to move on to the next round. Don't forget to check out the Dougsterbob sheet in the description, download it, and take a look to actually see exactly how I calculated all of these scores that you see here. It's broken down, real easy to understand, and you can look at it for almost any bike. Okay, so here's some important info. The We the People Reason weighs 27.2 pounds. It's full chromoly. It has one single wall rim, and it's a very responsive and snappy bike. The Mongoose Legion weighs 29 pounds. It's full chromoly, it's got double wall rims, and the geometry honestly is a little bit strange. It's got a really long chainstay, kind of responsive standover height, and an average size head tube. So the long chainstay kind of throws me off because if it's angled as a beginner bike, they're gonna have a little bit of a harder time actually controlling that bike and making it do tricks. However, the chainstay is very close to the 2021 Cult Devotion chainstay, which is like a 13.6. The Mongoose Legion is 13.72, right around there. I'm a little bit disappointed about the single wall rim on the We the People Reason, but it'll be relieving to hear that it's on the front. So a single wall rim on the front is not as big of a deal as a single wall rim on the back, since the back end does take a huge beating. When I reviewed this bike individually, you'll have to check out that video, but We the People actually commented on it to let me know that the Reason has that single wall rim on the front is actually better than some companies' double wall rims. I don't know how much I believe that, but it kind of makes sense, right? Like Mafia has a $300 bike that comes with double wall rims, and I'd be very confident to say that the single wall rim on the Reason is a lot better than the Mafia double wall rim that comes on the Mafia Cush 2. This is a very responsive bike, and the only reason I recommended it in that review video that I was talking about is because for people to find a responsive bike, it's generally hard, especially within this price range. Most bikes are geared towards the taller riders who want a more mellow and less responsive geometry. Okay, so let me run through the different scores. We've got the look score, we've got the street score, the park score, the dirt score, and the quality score. This is how good this bike is designed for each of these sections. Now, when we talk about looks, I'm looking at a couple of things. I'm looking at the amount of color options, how stylish the bike looks, and how customizable it is. So you'll be happy to hear that both these bikes are fully customizable, meaning that you can get pretty much any BMX part and replace it with the part on the bike. So you can buy some aftermarket handlebars and throw it on the We the People Reason. You will be fine. You won't have to worry about too much. Now, the reason that the Legion scored less than the Reason, that's a lot of rhyming right there, is because of the Reason comes in two different color options, and honestly, I think it looks a little bit better just the way it looks. But it has two different color options. The Legion only comes in one color. So for people who want to get a different color or be able to choose between colors to essentially express themselves, it's important to have multiple colors. We the People hit the mark on this. The Mongoose did not. So when it comes to street, I look at a few different things. I look at, does this bike come with pegs? Does it come with hub guards? Is the quality good enough to withstand big drops, big gaps, or gnarly street riding? And are the tires any good for street? The Reason comes with 2 pegs and 4 hub guards. It also has a sprocket with a bash guard, and that's something that you're not going to find on many complete bikes at all. And then the tires are pretty decent for street. So overall, with the build quality, this is a solid bike, very good for street riding. And the Legion is pretty good. However, it doesn't come with pegs. It doesn't come with hub guards. The reason that this bike scored a little bit higher than most bikes is because of that quality. It is a very high quality bike. We'll talk about that later, but especially for the price. But in terms of everything, the Reason beat it in the street section. This is a much more street orientated bike, and the geometry is very responsive, designed for technical street riding. Now again, the park section, very close, very close. The Reason got a 15, the Legion got a 12. And in the park section, I look for very responsive geometry, because most people who ride park like to do double whips, 720s, and just those crazy technical park tricks. There's a different aspect to park riding, but generally people are looking for the responsive park riding. So I consider that heavily when I'm scoring a bike for park riding. And then I also look at, does it have a gyro? Getting a complete bike with a gyro is going to save you a lot of money in the long run, and most BMX bikes that are designed for park are going to come with a gyro and a very responsive geometry. And then how do the tires hold up in dirt? Tires are something, it's a whole nother beast, but you know, park tires are going to be very low rolling resistance, high PSI, so they can rip around with minimal resistance and you can carry out your speed throughout your park run. The Reason doesn't have a gyro, but it has holes drilled for a gyro tab. But the geometry on it is so responsive. That chainstay is very responsive. The head tube angle is a little steeper than most. So it is geared. You could rip around and do that responsive park riding, where the Legion has a pretty chunky back end that's going to make spins significantly harder than the Reason does. However, the Legion does have gyro tabs, which is a step ahead of the Reason. They're ready to go. All you need to do is buy that gyro and run your cables, and you'll be good to go to have a gyro on the Legion. But when talking dirt, the Legion actually beat the Reason. Both of these bikes have free coasters, and that makes them very good for street, but not very good for dirt. The reason it makes it not good for dirt is that when you pedal with a free coaster, most free coasters, you have slack. So imagine this, imagine you're jumping your dirt jumps, you case a jump, and you need to somehow come up with enough speed to clear that second jump. You're gonna need to pedal. And if you have a free coaster, half of that pedal is doing absolutely nothing. So it's very hard to catch up, and it's very hard to get the speed that you need to carry out through the dirt jumps. So any bikes with a free coaster get a lot lower of a score. The reason that the Legion got an 8 instead of a 5 is because it does have that longer back end, which makes it more stable and easier to control when riding dirt. It's a lot more stable when you're going at high speeds and you're jumping dirt jumps when you have a longer chainstay versus the 12.5 or 12.7 inch chainstay on the Reason. And now quality. Surprisingly, the Legion actually did better than the Reason, and the reason for that is because it has both double wall rim. The Reason comes with one single wall rim, one double wall rim in the back, full chromoly frame forks and bars, making it a pretty strong bike. In the review video, I did talk about how I was a little disappointed that a $600 bike couldn't come with double wall rims, and you know, it is what it is. The Legion, also almost a $600 bike. This bike was $509 last year in their 2021 model, or whichever model it was. It's all chrome. They don't even have the years associated with it, but this one is now $589. I don't know if that was due to the shortage of bikes that they jacked up the price, but it being $589 makes it less of a value as it was when it was $509. And don't think that you can get that past me, Mongoose. I see you. I know you upped the price a little bit, and hopefully there's good reason for it. Now, again, back to the quality though, it has both rims as double wall, front and back, full chromoly frame forks and bars, so that makes it just a little bit better in the quality world. Again, We The People says that their lower quality stuff is better than most companies' higher quality stuff, but that's kind of for you to decide. One thing that I will say with Mongoose is it's very mass produced. And what happens when you mass produce things is things can get overlooked. There's manufacturer defects, there's things like that that could happen. A lot more common with the Legion than would happen with the We The People Reason. So if I had $600 to spend on a bike and I had to choose between these two, which one would I go with? I'm gonna have to go with the Reason. The score is just a little bit higher, but the biggest reason is that one, I support We The People and everything that they do for BMX. In the innovation aspect, they're building a great brand and they're helping BMX as a core along the way. Mongoose supports some of my favorite riders like Kevin Peraza and Pat Casey. However, if my $600 had to go to something, it would go to the Reason, because that single wall front rim is not enough to deter me away. I think overall you get some aftermarket salt parts and just some better quality stuff on this build of the bike. The core components are a little better on the Legion, but that doesn't make up for, you know, just little imperfections and things happening. So my $600 would go to the Reason, and that is the one that's moving into the next round. So I really want you guys to check out the next video and see how the Reason did against the next bike. You can also stay to the end of the video where I have this whole thing compiled together in a very long video with all of the different comparisons, and it runs down all the way to the final winner so that we can see which bike actually won. But in this section, the Reason takes home the gold. The Legion is the loser. Come back next time. I can't wait to do this with the 2022 bikes, and leave a comment for some more ideas for some great videos. I appreciate you guys. Like, comment, all that good stuff. Have a good day.